Okay, everyone. Hello. This is the Dante Elephante podcast, episode 83. I know what episode it is this week. Last week I didn't know what episode we were on, but now I know we're on episode 83. This is with Conner Cherland, and Dante Elephante is on the road. We are playing a show at Below at Belasco Theater on June 24th with Archer O, Shirley Tempo, and Makeout Reef. Come out to the shows. It's going to be pretty cool. I'm doing a special podcast promoting the show that I haven't announced yet. I can't announce yet, but it's with a comedian I really love. So I'm excited. Catch me on there on the 20th, June 20th. Can't announce it yet. Just a teaser. This is just a teaser. But yeah, this episode is with Conner Cherland at my new studio in LA. I'm going to start inviting people over there in Los Angeles, start doing interviews. But this is the first episode. I had Conner be the first guest. I was still setting it up. As you can clearly tell, the camera was all fucked up on my side. But it looks good for Conner, but it does not look good for me, but that's okay. It's always about the guest. And this is the new studio in LA. It's in a secluded part of LA, but it's beautiful. So if I do invite you, come on out, get some lunch, chill in the area for a little bit. It's really sweet. It's really cute. It doesn't feel like LA. Kind of feels like Ohio or something like that, but it's very nice. And I've been there for a little while, been paying rent and not doing any episodes, but this is the first episode, and I will be inviting people soon. So if you have any guests you want on the show, drop them in the comments. As always, if you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe. I'm trying to implant all this shit into my head so I can just keep telling you guys this, because I always forget. I'm like, oh, I didn't say like and subscribe when I'm editing this later. And once again, this episode is edited using Autopod, some AI energy right there. Pretty cool. Everything's been pretty cool, man. I really love this Autopod thing. It's making my workflow go by so much quicker. And it's Sunday right now, and so I'm just wrapping up this edit, enjoying my little quiet Sunday. Jenny is at work, and last night we watched the new Cheeto movie. Have you guys seen that? Flaming Hot. It's based on the dude who made the hot Cheeto. He invented the hot Cheeto. And the classic story, they told us this story a bunch when I was in junior high about him, and it's like an uplifting tale. Doesn't matter what level you work at, anyone, a good idea can come from anywhere. And from my experience working at corporations, that is not the fucking case. But in this case, they did listen to him, and he did have a good idea. And, the hot Cheeto was born. It was a good movie. I didn't think it was going to be good. I was, certain this is going to be fucking terrible. But this is, Eva Longoria's directorial debut, and it was actually really good. I actually thought she did a great job. And I think I saw something that, the movie was written by someone who was previously writing Christian movies, those kind of cheesy Hallmarky Christian type movies, and there was some weird religious energy in the movie, but it wasn't enough for me to be super distracted. But it was actually shot really well, and it looked really good. So yeah, I highly recommend it. Go watch it on Disney Plus and Hulu. The Flaming Hot Cheeto movie. This week is Conner Cherland. He has a new record out on Santa Barbara Records. I didn't even know Santa Barbara Records was a thing. I didn't know there was a label, more labels in Santa Barbara, or just a label, an active label, which is really cool. I think Santa Barbara needs something like that. And I don't know, maybe hopefully it's more than just a name. We talk a little bit about it, and I still don't have a great idea of what they do or what they're doing, but it's pretty cool. Santa Barbara Records, based in Santa Barbara, doing something is happening. Music is being made. But Conner has a new EP, I guess, that came out in 2022 called Call Waiting, that came out in Santa Barbara Records. So go check that out. We talk about that. We talk about living in LA, that move from Santa Barbara to LA, which is I feel like if you're a musician, it's kind of the pilgrimage, right? You do so much time in Santa Barbara that you have to go try LA. And I think everyone should try LA. I just don't think it's the same anymore. I don't think you have to live in LA to make it, quote unquote, make it. You could be in a Santa Barbara band and play down in LA and tour and put stuff online and kind of build some momentum that way. But whatever you gotta do, man. Santa Barbara's a small town. And we're so close to LA, and I don't know. It's fun. LA has a different energy. It's a lot to deal with, but I've been very stoked and very privileged to have lived down there as long as I did, and now I'm working down there with my new studio. Let's just get into it. Next week we have some of the Boise episodes coming up. Oh, I wanted to talk about my guitar. Here we go. Last week on the show, I talked about wanting a Strat, and if anyone had an Olympic Strat with the rosewood fretboard, to hit me up. And you know what? I found one on Reverb. That same week, a friend of mine sent it to me from Reverb, and here we go. It's awesome. It's everything I ever wanted, and yeah, pretty cool. If you come to one of the shows, you'll see it in person, and hell yeah, man, enjoy the episode. Talk to you soon. Bye. All right, man. Dude, how you doing?
Good.
Oh my God, you are seeing behind the wall, behind the, I don't know, behind the curtain, the behind the scenes. This is the first show I've done here. And yeah, my guest is Conner Cherland. How are you, man?
I'm good.
Cherland or Cherland?
I say Cherland.
Cherland.
People can say whatever they want.
Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How's it going? You are a Santa Barbara person who we met in Santa Barbara, but you are now living in LA. I've done this move before. How are you feeling?
I feel really good. I've had a very nice time so far. In Highland, so I'm in Highland Park.
Yeah.
And it is like a super chill spot to be in. Like everybody, like, so I show up in March and then I record a record in April. Yeah. And with like a group of guys that I didn't know, it felt very like frat, where you like you pay a bunch and then you have friends. Yeah. Because it was like it was just kind of like a summer camp vibe for like a week. Yeah, we just worked together every day for like 8-9 hours.
Really?
Yeah, that felt really good.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I've had, and like through those people, I've met so many really nice people really quickly, and so it's like, oh, you want the fast track to like nice people in Los Angeles?
Yeah, building a little community here in LA.
Yeah. So that happened very quickly, and I felt incredibly fortunate. Yeah. And I've been gigging in LA since 2016, so it's like, there have been people that I've hung out with, and so I wasn't starting from total scratch. It was,
totally.
Yeah, that was nice.
Oh, that's really good, man.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just take a few steps. So, you made a record.
Mm-hmm.
You're promoting the record right now, and what's going on? What is Santa Barbara Records? You're on Santa Barbara. I'm just picking up from things I've seen online.
Yeah.
Let's go from the start. What's going on? How did you decide to make a record?
I just make a record every year.
Okay.
So it was going to happen whether or not Santa Barbara Records was involved.
Okay.
Yeah. And I heard about them because they made like a compilation album with like Hana Aluna and Mendeleev and a bunch of other people that I admired. And I was like, cool. And then I heard that Tarek Akoni was involved. And I was like, cool. I'd worked with Tarek before. I admire him as a person and as a professional, just so much. So then I reached out to them and was just like, hey, any chance you need another person on the label? And they were like, that's not really, you don't just like send you don't normally send your stuff to a record label like that, but like come out to one of our events. And then I did, and then we went out to dinner. And then at the dinner it was nice. And then they were like, we should have a follow-up call. And then we did have a follow-up call, and they just started telling me about their services. And I was like, cool. And I was like, is there a reason why you're telling me about your services? Yeah. And they were like, yeah, we would be interested in working with you. And I was like, oh. Yeah. Okay. Sick. That'd be tight.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I was like, it sounds like you guys are great. Good. Great.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you obviously you plan to make a record every year. Was this record, like, did they pay for these recordings? Like, how did that work? Did they get you in the studio, or were you going to do this anyways and then pitch them the final product?
Yeah, I was already going to do it. So my budget, regardless of the years, it just kind of sits at like $4,000 to $5,000 like per year. And so, that's just like a calculated loss in my life. And then they came in and they bought it, not for that price. Right. Yeah. But it helped recoup some of the money, so that was helpful. And and now we continue to try and promote it, and that's cool. Yeah.
So were the the songs done already? The songs were written and the songs were recorded already?
The songs were written and were being recorded with demos. So they were able to hear like the non-mixed versions and being like, we like these songs. Yeah, when you mix and master them, like, let's go for it.
Oh, okay. So those demos were the songs that would eventually become the record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I even give them, because there was 4 songs that we had like landed on and already recorded, and I was like, I'm using my full budget on 4 songs.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we would like 2 more, so if you can
make it 6.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool, you can pick that. And I just showed them a bunch of songs.
Yeah.
And I was like, whichever of these you want me to do acoustic, I'll do it acoustic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
When I was younger, the EP was 4 songs.
Yeah.
And now it's like 6.
Yeah.
When I was younger, the set time was 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And now it's like 45. Everyone plays a 45-minute set now.
Yeah.
But yet, the pay hasn't changed. Like, everything has grown, or like the sets are longer, the EPs are longer, the albums are shorter. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, the pay is still the same. You want $200? You want $150 to open for someone?
Yeah.
I guess I'll take it.
Yeah.
Guess I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. Where do you find? I mean, I know that you work with Seymour Duncan.
Yeah. I've been working with Seymour now for almost 2 years.
Where else do you? Because right now I'm listening to the Colin and Samir podcast 100% of the time, and he keeps talking about diversifying income, and like live shows and record sales is like traditionally like the thing.
The big 2.
Yeah. And then there's like merch, but that's normally like rolled into the tour thing.
Yeah.
So like where else do you have like a Patreon? Do you have like what?
I did the Patreon for a little bit, and then that just during the lockdown, it just was like it just wasn't for me after a while. I was just putting DJ mixes up there, but I DJ, which is like my main, because I can't really do the cover, play for 3 hours at a one. I can't.
It's hard.
It's just not me.
Yeah.
So I do the DJ thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like that.
Yeah.
Get to play other. I'm DJing. Like I'm DJing tonight.
Yeah.
And it should be fun. And merch is big. Merch is huge. And that is like primary. Like we sell more merch on the road, but you have to remember to keep promoting the merch.
Right. Yeah.
Like so, it's like constantly its own store.
Right.
I really don't put the merch money in with the show money. I do separate them, so I can continue to buy more merch. Because that upfront cost to like buy merch, I still haven't paid myself back the $2,000 I invested in like during the pandemic.
Yeah,
like I've slowly like given myself I'll give myself $200 now. Like we sold out that run, but now I need to make more. And so I've done that a couple times, but I've never paid myself back from that initial run.
I'm right now when I first started making records, I made an EP in 2016, and I was like, okay, sick, I'm gonna make 100 and sell them at shows, and I would pretty like regularly like sell them out at shows.
Cool.
And that was like, I didn't know that was like kind of an anomaly.
Yeah.
And then what ended up happening was like the next year happened. I was like, oh, this is a better record, so I'm going to buy 200.
Right.
And then I was like, oh crap, I have like a bunch of leftovers. And then like the next year I'd be like, it's kind of a fluke. This record's better. I'm going to buy more. And then now I've moved back into like, okay, I'm going to buy 100 records.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. No, that's good. 100's a lot of records.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I learned that from my last record. Like, how much you want to press? How much you think? Like, and the label I'm working with was just like, how many do you think you can sell? Because it's like that's like a real question. Like, how many do you realistically think you can sell? Because I don't want to fucking buy 1,000 records and have them sit around. But I was like, I have no idea because I've never like taken account for that stuff. Right. We just always just made here's 50 tapes or here's whatever, and we don't. We give them away or like something like that. We just weren't taking accounting for that kind of stuff. So I had. Before this year or before 2021, I had no stats.
Oh, interesting.
And I think that's what scares a lot of labels away from people like me or from like most people is that there's no stats. Yeah. Where are the stats? How many records did you sell? Where did you fucking sell them? Yeah. How many tickets are you selling right now? Right. Like, and now I have like stats for all that stuff, which is like helping, making me feel better for when, I don't know, whenever I finish my next thing.
One of the utilities, I wanted to share this with you because it's been an interesting hack lately. Because I've been having a hard time selling merch, just kind of in general. And so it's like, well, then what's the utility of merch that goes unsold? It's like 0.
Yeah.
And it as it continues to age, it like diminishes in value often, because like if you put out the new thing, then it's like, the old thing isn't going to be as exciting to buy. So what I've been doing is I like have all these like mugs that I realized like weren't selling, and so at shows I'm like, I have a mug that I'm going to give away at the end of the show.
Oh, cool.
And for everyone who follows me, I'm going to put you in a lottery system, and I'm going to DM one of you saying that you won. And it's like, it's offloading merch, and it's like so many more people are following you immediately, because everyone's just like, oh shit, like
I want to win.
I want free stuff.
Yeah, giveaways are huge.
Yeah, and but doing it like at the show and then DMing them, like I will DM like after this set, I will DM one of you randomly.
That's amazing.
And it's been really crazy where I'm like, oh, this is moving the numbers actually in like a really helpful way, and using merch that wouldn't be sold probably otherwise.
And you'd find that like a lot of brands like Seymour Duncan, we run a giveaway once a month.
Oh, really?
Well, we have a different giveaway every month.
Yeah.
And that shit is awesome.
Yeah.
The comments are through the roof.
Yeah.
You start getting a lot of followers.
Yeah.
It's great. But then, you see people unfollow.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, I didn't win shit.
Yeah.
But it's so valuable. People love free stuff. And with social, and just another way to engage social and, manipulate the algorithm a bit.
Yeah.
It's all about the comment section.
Yeah.
It's all about the comment section. It's all about getting shares. And when Instagram sees that there's a lot of comments, they're like, oh, this is a post that needs to get pushed in the algorithm more.
Yeah.
So if you can get the comment section roaring, those are always my biggest.
Yeah. With Seymour, is it like leave a like and a comment and share it, or like
depends? Like, my favorite one. And if you go on Seymour and Duncan's Instagram, it's like, what song would you play on this guitar? And then people are just naming songs. Or like, what kind of guitar strings do you use, or what who inspired you to buy a JB, which is like the biggest pick, the most famous pickup Seymour makes, and like, those ones go crazy.
Interesting.
It's not so much like the sell of like, buy this pickup. It's more like a conversation. Yeah. And people just start going in the comments and it pops.
Okay. Interesting.
It's weird.
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't know how you do that with a band though.
Yeah, it's
not everything that works for a brand works for a band. That's like what I always say.
Yeah, I would imagine it's also nice because you're removed from Seymour Duncan, where you're able to. It's not as cringe to like be like, all right, now what's like the best Dante song you've fluxed
I could
to?
never. Yeah, I could never do that.
Yeah. All right, everyone, comment your favorite song of mine.
Favorite song right now. I did one recently because I am working on a new set list for this year, and that one went great. People were commenting. I was nervous. I was like, dude, people aren't gonna maybe people aren't connected like that. Maybe people don't listen to my discovery like the way I think they do. And
right.
Yeah, I got some good suggestions. It was
nice.
Cool. Some stuff I was like, oh, I wouldn't have played that because it's so old.
Interesting.
But,
okay.
Yeah, throw it in.
That's great.
Yeah, so you never know. But yeah, that's awesome, man. So the record was kind of made, pretty much done. You link up with Santa Barbara Records. What's that deal looking like? Is it a multi-record deal, or is it just for this one record? Like, how long are you going to keep working with them? All that.
Yeah, it was. It's like one record with one option.
Cool.
And their goal was to just like make a deal that they wanted when they were kids. Yeah. So they did that, and and so like it's just gonna be like that one record. So I'm like I'm fully free for the next thing. So it's hard. It's
nice.
It's just it's just like a pleasant relationship, and it's like
sweet. And you can go back if if they want the next thing. You can,
yeah. So that feels really calm. Like a lot of people have horror stories, and I'm like, no, it's pleasant. And we're all very free, and hopefully the record does well. And
it's a different world at that level. I think like with big labels, it starts getting like, I don't know, so weird. Like my contract right now is just a licensing deal. It was like I give them the license to put it out, and in like 5 years after I recouped, which I did within the like first year.
Cool.
Because we also didn't spend a lot of money on like PR and shit like that would have racked that bill up.
Yeah.
And I also just don't believe in PR anymore.
Oh,
Shout out to all
wow.
the PR agents who email me to get the but I'm not a big believer in PR anymore.
Yeah. Say more.
And I just, I've seen buddies in the last year or 2 years who got like really great Pitchfork reviews.
Yeah.
Like in the 7.6, whatever. That's pretty good for them. And did nothing. Nothing happened.
Nothing changed.
They used to change your life.
Yeah.
A decent review used to change your life. Now it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
And we've moved past that, and it's all fucking all Spotify, man. It's fucked up. But you have to play the Spotify game.
Do you think it's... So I feel like Pitchfork used to have a lot more eyeballs on it.
Right.
And now that that's shifted, like, do you think that PR is just in the past? Or they're like doing old person things? They're like, they're doing old media versus being like, oh, we should get you in these influencers. Can we get you
in, with these influencers and these podcasts? Like,
yes.
A lot of them aren't pitching now they're starting to pitch the podcast.
Yeah.
But they're pitching like Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
That doesn't do anything, really.
Yeah.
I had a buddy who was just on Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah. What did he see any numbers shift? Not to the degree that you would expect.
Not to the degree. Yeah, it doesn't sell tickets. That's for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah. I had a buddy. I just talked to my buddy Kyle Nicolaitis on the episode before this. Neither of the episode hasn't come out yet, but it will. And he was talking about his time. He played Conan, and he was like, "Dude, I went on tour and played in front of no one."
Yeah.
He's like, the next day, we sold 6 tickets.
Whoa.
Like, it's just, that was back then. That was probably like 2016 or something, but it's only gotten worse now.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see much to it. It makes for a good social clip, though. If you can get that footage,
yeah.
Post it on TikTok, it might do good. I don't know.
But
it's a flex. Yeah,
it is a flex, but it's like an outdated flex.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know. That's something that I'm trying to think about a lot as I'm like still trying to promote this record. We're all trying to grow on social media, so it's just like all these things that used to mean something. Like I remember the first time I experienced this, I like played at the Whiskey A Go Go.
Yeah, that place is terrible. I played an awful show at the Whiskey A Go. That place sucked.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
Because it was like I invited so many people. I was like, this is an iconic venue.
Yeah.
I invited everybody. It's like one of my first big shows in LA, and a bunch of people from Santa Barbara come down, and then they enjoyed my set. And then after me was like this like 4-piece like hardcore screamo band.
Yeah.
And like my mom was there, and she was like, "Oh, Conner." And then after that was like a super chill, very nice kind of band, and I was like, "This is crazy! Like this is the weirdest lineup."
Why do they operate that way?
Yeah,
like. Yeah, we also did the same exact thing. A metal band, a ska band, and then us, and then an acoustic act ended it.
Yeah,
so, dude, you don't have the acoustic act end the show.
Yeah.
Like that's just not how like you build up to it.
Right.
There's no curation at all. There's no like thoughtfulness put into it. It's just chaos.
Yeah. As you're looking into your next album, what are because I mean, old PR being old. Like, how are you planning on doing kind of new age PR of reaching out to TikTok influencers and
I did that. I DM'd a lot of people on the last record.
How'd that go?
Got nothing.
Really?
No one respond back.
Interesting.
I know a few more now because I had one TikTok I keep saying last year. It's 2021 now.
Yeah.
One TikTok did really well, and I have like you know that guy Stefan Johnson. He does like the voiceover stuff, food reviews. Like he follows me. Like I have like random people like that.
Yeah.
Who, influencers on TikTok who follow me because of that one video. But yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
Okay.
Where's the music?
Yeah.
Where are my music influencers? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with that. Even though I think it's really cool that they follow me and I love their videos and I watch them all the time. But it's like a lot of them are comedians and it's like, I don't know. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
I love my comedian friends though, but their audiences are just different.
They're
just so different.
Yeah.
But there is overlap.
Yeah, and but again, like attracting the kind of person who comes out to a show.
Yeah.
I think is an interesting thing. Like I talk about with a lot of my friends, like, there's a lot you can do on social media.
Right.
But what does it attract? Like, I don't know. Like, and you want to be really thoughtful about like, wouldn't it be like, it's really cool when you find certain communities. I'm a big fan of Healthy Gamer.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen him on YouTube? He's he used to be a therapist, and then before that he was a doctor, And now he's like a like therapist for gamers specifically. Whoa. And his community is like the sweetest group. Like people will like say something like horrible in the Reddit thing, and being like, this is, I'm just, but like it's like confessional, and everybody will like gather around them and be like, well, here are some ways that you can work through that, and like and they're like about growing together. And I'm like, I want a community like that. That like, wouldn't that be sick if you're like, if people are like checking in on you and being like, hey, I just want to make sure you're like doing things for your mental health. Like, it's
great, man. I think YouTube is probably a great place for that. And like my main focus is, and the main thing I point to like bands was like, dude, fuck Instagram, fuck Facebook, go YouTube, and TikTok really hard. Because I found that the communities, at least on YouTube, are just so much like, I haven't posted in a while, and like I got like a comment the other day of like some dude being like, dude, love the podcast, like it's all good if it's like too much to handle, but if you could make another episode, that'd be cool. Like I'm like, it is too much to handle right now, but I will find the strength.
That's really sweet.
You know, it's like that stuff is cool.
He's already sorry for asking.
Like, I'm sorry, but like I want more episodes, but you know, it's like I'm working on it, man. I'm really working on it. Yeah, it took a while.
That's amazing. What made it take a while? I remember you and I talking about
we talked during the
editing taking
like
4 to 8 hours or something.
The 2-camera thing is a lot longer than like what it used to be when it was just the one wide angle, and I could just like, but I also didn't edit at all. And now I'm like more interested in editing. I edit a lot for Seymour, and the 2-camera thing just takes a little bit longer. Like everything else, like editing audio and all that, doesn't take very long, but the 2-camera thing can take a long time. Getting the right cuts and all the other stuff you want to add. And it's a long video. It's an hour long or 2 hour long video you're editing. Like it takes a while to like seconds by seconds.
It's edit. It will. The editing time will at least take as long as the video.
I'll take a whole Saturday.
Oh jeez.
So I was like, I can't do this. And then I looked into like other people doing it, but then I was like, this shit's not really making money now. I'm just doing it for fun. You know, so once it starts turning a profit, then
I would love to see if there's a setup for live editing, like how they do on TV, where you can toggle between cameras.
That's the 810 mini switch thing. They have that.
That'd be sick to be able to do it'd probably be distracting if you're like,
you'd have to have a producer for sure.
But if you're like sitting talking to me, anytime I talk, you're switching over.
No, that's the next level.
Hold on, let me interrupt you.
It's fun though, man. This kind of thing is so fun. It's just, you know, with touring and all that, I was like, it's impossible.
As you're looking forward to the next record, this is the question that I'm always like asking every single musician, because there's so much challenge, right? So much shit in your face 100% of the time. So like, what is keeping you moving forward? What's the thing that's like really driving you to the next record and like actually making you want to make more?
To make more music. I know, because you get caught up with making content all the time, and I feel like that takes a lot away from the music, because I'm like, oh, I gotta make this, I gotta make that. But it's really hard, man. I feel like making music has been the hardest period to make music, because I've just been so busy with other things, and as I get older, like my priorities are in different places.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
I'm 30.
So, nice. And so it gets to the point where I'm like, I need to make like the only reason people, not the only reason, but like the main reason people care about Dante Elephante as a brand, as a band, is for the music. And like I felt that way when I hit a few markets. I did Chicago. I played Chicago maybe 3 or 4 times last year, and by the 4th time, people were like, "Where's new music soon or what?" Like, fuck. All right, can't just like live off the hey, I made a great record, now I'm gonna live off that for the next like 5 years. Like, you can't do that. So I have to make more music, and I wrote a lot of songs in the lockdown, and I have like 15 songs right now, and I'm just like kind of slowly chipping them away. And then I gotta teach them to the band. So that's like the next layer. And then so we're gonna track 3 songs, and that's where I'm at right now.
Okay.
But the main driver though is because I still love it, and that's what this is all about. The podcast is all, this is all fun, but it's all still to funnel to the music.
And you feel really good about the songs.
I feel good about them.
Great.
I'll feel better once like there's structure and stuff.
Yeah.
Right now it's just chords and not even lyrics, just chords and melodies.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's 15 chords and melodies, so
yeah.
I feel good about that.
Interesting.
What about you?
What's pushing me forward?
Yeah.
Right now I started taking music lessons.
Yeah.
While
That's
I'm here.
cool.
I also started taking like singing lessons and guitar lessons, but those were all like
a few friends who are taking singing lessons now.
no, it's super helpful. That's like wonderful. So I was doing guitar lessons for a little bit, and then I did singing lessons for a bit. And then I like thought to myself, I was like, well, what would make LA like crazy, like for me to be here? And did you ever see the Cartoon Network series Over the Garden Wall? Mm-mm. It's my favorite thing.
Cool.
And it's like the visuals, the stories, and especially the music is like it's very formative for me. And so I was like, I wonder if those guys could teach me.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's just see where they, let's like see their Instagram following. And I was like, 3,500. Like, I could talk to these guys.
Yeah.
So I shot them a DM and I like looked them up on Wikipedia. And I was like, they live in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Like, so I reached out and I was like, would you guys be willing to teach me to like songwrite? And they were like, absolutely.
Really?
Come, yeah. They're like, we don't have people asking us to do that. So
cool.
Please.
Sometimes you just have to ask.
Yeah, and I've been doing that since November.
Wow.
And one of them's out of the country right now, but the guy that I've been seeing, our time has just been so sweet. And
are you doing it on Zoom or in person?
In person. He lives 15 minutes from my house.
That's a lot better, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah, and like we just go to his house and like he makes me tea, and then we like.
What is that like? I've always been like weary of songwriting classes or songwriting books or
like, well, he's not a songwriting teacher, so he's
just like, this is what I would do in these situations.
He's just trying to introduce me. Like he was like, why don't you play me some of your songs that you're proud of? And I was like, okay. And that was a really sweet night. Got to share with him some of the stuff, and he's like, I like this, and I like this, and he's like, so like, what do you feel is like, what do you want to learn? And I was like, I don't know. I feel like I just don't have that many tools, and I think that's what makes me a good artist, because I can deal with very few tools, and I will squeeze that really, really well. But I just don't. My songs feel boring to me, like all the time, and I feel like I'm going back to the same thing over and over again. And he was like, okay, great, I can introduce you to things, and he's like, but it's all going to come down to like you making them your own. Right. And being able to use the tools for yourself. And like, so every week he like introduces a new concept or like the same concept in a new way. And he's like, and your goal, like this week's song is hard. he's like, everything's going to be in C, and I need you to move between the modes. And you don't need to move between all of them, but like make it a simple song, move between modes, make it obvious that you're moving between modes using your melodies, and really focus on chord extensions. And being like, and chord extensions above the 7, and being like, and these are all things I don't do. Yeah. It's like, well, I don't switch modes mid-song ever. Yeah. And I don't use chord extensions almost ever. Yeah. Especially above the 7. And it's like, and it sometimes creates a lot of crap, but then like the goal is like, no, Conner, make it a good song. Like work hard all week to make this a song that you might play somewhere. And that has been like such a gift. And he'll listen to the song and be like, wow, that's really interesting that you did that. I think this shows that you don't understand this concept. And he'll be like, got it. So I don't think you know the sound of playing in a minor key. And being like, because every time I was doing it, it would end up sounding major. And it being like, okay, so this week, let's make it minor. Like, let's really focus on like what you need to avoid, so that we're tonicizing the minor. And that kind of stuff is like, oh, the internet was wrong. The internet was right, kinda, but like,
how so? What do you mean the internet was wrong and right? What was wrong and right about?
So when you think about the C major scale, you all white notes on the keyboard. Right. When you think about the A minor scale, all white notes on the keyboard. And what that's called is the natural minor, which I didn't know that was like a thing. but the classic sound of a minor minor scale is actually the harmonic minor. So the G turns into a G sharp. So then you have the leading tone, that like,
Yeah.
and that like, it's avoiding that G note, and that creates that tension that most people like really associate with the minor. And I didn't know that. And he was like,
yeah, that's great.
He was like, yeah, anytime you play a G, people are gonna assume it's gonna go back to the C. But like you're that's not what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So like that kind of a thing where I was like, oh, there's a fundamental principle that like, and there's plenty of places on the internet that explain this, but if you don't know that there is a difference between a natural and a harmonic minor, like,
yeah,
you're just gonna keep trying. Like I just thought, just keep trying to make like A minor work in this very specific way, and I wasn't getting the sound that I wanted.
Yeah.
And so he's able to point out certain things of being like, I can hear you struggling in this song to get back to like where you want to be. And I've loved how gentle he's been.
Yeah.
That entire, like he never shits on me. The type of like notation that I do, like whole notes, half note, none of it. I'm just putting dots in places in a sequence, and he's like, well, that's funny. He's like, that's cool, that's neat. I don't know like the timing of it at all.
Yeah.
But like I see that you wrote something down, which is helpful.
That's great, man. I think those kind of exercises are so important, and it's like the craft of songwriting is never done. You're always going to write better songs. You're always going to write terrible songs. You're always going to write like more challenging stuff. Like the idea that like, oh, I've been writing songs for X amount of years, I can never write a bad song. It's like, dude, everyone writes bad songs sometimes, and you just have to let go of that fear. Yeah. That like this one's, good or bad or whatever. Or like my thing right now is when you do have like a successful record, like, oh, people aren't gonna like this one, they like the last one so much, like, and then you're putting that doubt in your mind, and I'm just trying to get away from that right now. Be like, you know what, fuck it, I don't care anymore. Like I like these songs, and that's like all that matters, and that's the energy I've always had. It's like, I like these songs, people better like them too, because this is what I'm putting out. I like it. Well, I think it's most important that you like them, because you're the one that has to tour them. I have to sing them, So, I know. So if you're doing it for them and they don't like it, then you're screwed. It's going to be a long tour. You worked so hard on these songs you don't like and they don't like. I know, because you think you know what people want. You never know what people want. You could change your sound up tomorrow and people are like, dude, we love it. It's weird. Because I changed my sound up so much from my latest record from my previous work. There's two different types of fans: the people who love the old stuff, and the people who love the new stuff. And the people who love the new stuff don't like the old stuff. And like, it's weird. It's different, but it's cool. Interesting. Do you notice any personality differences between the two? Yeah, kind of. Like the people who liked the garage surf, kind of like lo-fi stuff, like are like, I don't know, probably more like the scene I see in LA and the people like that. But the new record I think is a little bit more universal, because it's like disco, it's like dance music. So I think more people are being able to get. I see more women at the shows now. Oh, cool! I'll say that. Nice. Women never came to my shows. We are such a dude band, like making serious dude rock. But now women come to the shows, which is cool. Nice, and that brings more men. Ultimately brings more men. It's cool. That's awesome. It's been fun though. The one thing I had a friend point out to me is that like a lot of my fans look like me. Like, which I think is really cool. At least in LA, like I'll play a show in LA, and like, a lot of people in the crowd will look like me. It's kind of weird. It's like maybe heavier set Latino dudes with beards and glasses. Love that. It's fucking cool. It's like, these are my people. And like, they see me and they see themselves. And it's cool to represent in that way. I love that.
I only felt that way once, and it was at a Coheed and Cambria concert in Ventura when I like looked around in the mosh pit and I was like, wow, these are all like dark-haired Mexican-looking dudes
totally.
in like, we're all wearing the same shoes, we're all wearing the same like cut-off jean shorts that are black.
Totally.
Like,
is the singer of Code Cambria, is he Mexican? I think he's probably some Latin.
Claudio Sanchez?
Oh, okay. He's probably, for sure. That's cool.
Yeah.
Then. See,
Yeah.
and then people see themselves in him.
Yeah.
And I like that. I love that band too. But yeah, I never went to any of their shows. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Man, so you've been playing a lot of shows in LA?
Not since the new year. I played Friday and Sunday. I like a couple. I did like a So Far, and then I did a buddy's like house concert series that he does.
Oh, cool.
But generally, like my November through March is like pretty chill. It like there's like not a lot going on, and then like April through October is like heavy hustle. Yeah, that's where I do the majority of my work, like kind of all year. So it's been I think a lot of the joy of living in LA has come from collaboration and like after this I'm gonna be I like wrote a song with a guy that I met at a show back in November, and like we wrote a song together that we both really like, and we're in the process of recording it.
Sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, we're just gonna go record at his place in Burbank, and
nice.
Yeah.
And you like those So Far shows? You like those intimate house shows?
I can book them.
Okay.
And
that's yeah.
I think
that's a real answer.
Yeah, I like aspects of So Far Sounds. I think So Far Sounds has drastically changed since 2016.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like when you think about,
you've been doing them for a while then.
Yeah, since 2016.
Oh, okay.
When you think about like So Far Sounds in like 2013, 14, that's when you have like people like Leon Bridges, like
doing
these house shows with So Far Sounds, and like that's super cool. It like used to be. Have you ever done one?
Yeah. I have my issues with So Far.
Yeah. So like the deal used to be like either you're gonna get like the sick video and get put on our channel, which is great for promo, and you're gonna get like photos because we always have photographers at the event as well. So there's the video option, or there's the payment option, and there's also someone there taking photos. It's a pretty good deal if you're a starting out artist.
This is 2016 or is this now?
This is 2016.
Okay.
A great time to be a part of it. Yeah. And now when you're in it, it's like you're going to make $100. Yeah. There's no video. Yeah. There's no photographer. A lot of these people are like having a night and won't follow you. Like your social media handle is not posted anywhere. Like, so I do a lot of work, which is why I mentioned the like, hey, whoever follows me is going to get this piece of merch, because it's like, I need you all to like get in the funnel because I need to hopefully this is like the first, this show can be the first step to like making you want to come to future shows.
Right.
And yeah, I still think there's a ton of value, in my favor while I play So Far Sounds, because it is, if you have a good show, and again, it's relative to the people that you're seated next to in the lineup. I do also think like the level of curation has gone slightly down.
Because we played a show. We played like 2 or 3 shows in the Seattle area just because we had a big gap on the tour and we're just trying to fill it up. And we played, acoustic person. Then we played as a band, which was like not a thing. Yeah, but then also no one told us, like, which I would have been happy just playing it by myself. Yeah, like after doing the gig, I was like, I should have just done this by myself. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I never got into them, and I was like, someone told me, it's like, oh, aren't those filmed? I was like, I don't think they film them anymore. Yeah, but I didn't know. I was like, maybe they just didn't film ours. Yeah, but it's interesting to know that they just stopped filming.
I think they probably still film some, right? But there's a I would also understand why that they wouldn't have to make that switch, because it's like at the beginning there's so few artists, and so like there are talented artists, you're making these videos, you're putting it onto this platform, and it's doing well, And then all of a sudden you're taking videos of all these like unknown artists who are less quality.
Right.
And it like decreases the value of your YouTube channel kind of as a whole. So then you have to change your business model of like, well, we don't just like, we're not a platform for like any artist.
Oh, okay.
We should like, again, this is me projecting, but it's like,
right.
we should have like intense quality control if we want to like have a good YouTube following.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like their business model leaned so heavily in the favor of musicians at the start and has become a lot more like give and take. It still feels like a good situation for me, because I can play solo, but like, especially in LA, I'm trying to play more with musicians, like play a lot less solo so that I can be seen
as a band,
as a
full band project. Yeah.
Which is a hard thing to change, like perception about, because I've spent so much time, and no matter who I'm playing with, they like people will still see like the guy holding an acoustic guitar. Yeah.
And does that bother you?
No, not really. I don't have like, it like bothers me in a business sense, but not like in a personal sense, like
branding sense.
Yeah. But again, it's one of those things where I don't have the resources to change that perception.
Yeah, it's expensive to have a band.
Yes.
It's very expensive to have a band, to have a drummer, another guitar player, key player, bassist. Like, it gets so expensive. I don't think people understand how expensive it is to have like a full band.
Yeah. Well, think of like how much like I want to get paid and times that by 4. It's like,
times it by 4, I know.
It's like, how much do I respect myself? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I have to respect 4 people like that.
Yeah, you also have to respect 4 people. And like I'll just say it, like, you can pay a musician $50 a show. Yeah. That's like realistic. Yeah. Everyone's gonna make $50 after the show. Yeah. And after, you pay for the gas and pay for all that, it's like, I think there's some money to go around, maybe a little bit. Like, and then you gotta bank some. Yeah. For operating costs of like your website, and like when things like that pop up, and Dante Elephante is an LLC now, and like that comes with like a bunch of different costs I need to pay this year, my license and all that kind of shit. So I don't know, it's fun, it's stressful, but I love doing it, and I'm still doing it. So I'm being a part of the band thing has been so rewarding. Like, I've never... Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah, I never enjoyed making a record before. And then I made a record with these guys and was like, every day looking forward to going back to it. And I was like, wow, the idea that it could all be fun and happy. Granted, costly, but just it's so much better to do it with other people. And And was a lot... Did you guys practice a lot, like a lot of pre-production, like before you actually hit the studio, or were you kind of figuring it out in the studio?
Mostly figuring it out in the studio. Yeah. Really? So like we did pre-production in that we like decided this is the key, these are the words, these are the chords, this is the tempo, and then we sent those demos to all the guys and being like, all right, so when you come in, like, this is the idea of the song, these are some reference tracks that we're interested in, and but come in with a lot of ideas, because we're gonna want it. But it was all in a week.
How'd you meet these players?
All through the guy who produced the record, John Bottrell. He also played bass on the record. Cool. So when I was looking for apartments here, it was like the day after my birthday. It was like February 22nd, 22. We like met up with this producer and then checked out the apartment, loved the apartment, and was like, so we should just probably go with the guy we just met, because this is a good day. So let's just go with that guy. And I just told him, I was like, I'm going to go with you because of like, I enjoyed your company. And we found the apartment on the same day, so it's probably just good juju.
It's a good sign.
Yeah, he was like, cool, I'll take it, man.
That's awesome. How'd you find the producer?
Los Angeles Songwriters Club, LASC. They, in the pandemic, were meeting over Zoom. So I, from Santa Barbara, was logging into that Zoom and sharing songs and meeting people. And at the end of the meetings, they were like, does anybody have any needs? And I was like, I'm looking for a producer. And then like I was given like a list of like,
Yeah.
here's like a list of 10.
Wow.
Here's their specialties, and let me know if you need anything else. And I was like,
Wow.
cool. And
What a cool group to
Yeah.
have out here.
Yeah. So I like set up interviews with like 4 different people and figured that out. And I was...
Had you worked with anyone you'd heard of or anything like that?
No.
Or just...
No, it was all blind.
Really?
Yeah. It was all just like, I'm just going to... Basically, moving to LA in general has been one big like, I'm going to trust strangers. And...
That's not how you move to LA. Trusting strangers. No, you could get kidnapped. You could have been kidnapped.
I am very kidnappable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was what it was. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pay you a lot of money because one person that I just met recommended you. And then like he would be like, well, I think we should work with these guys, and being like, great, I'm gonna pay them a lot of money because you,
nice, yeah, just following, you know, your intuition.
Yeah, and just kind of giving in, and when I was like in studio with that producer John, like I was telling him, I was like, just so you know, like I'm gonna really try to focus on like not fighting you creatively. Yeah. So like at any point, if like we feel 50-50 on a decision, I'll lean your way. Okay. And I was like, if I feel super strongly the other way, I'll let you know. But I was like, in a scenario where we're both like, I don't know, I like it my way. I don't know, you like it your way. Like, let's go your way. Yeah. And we did. Really? And
that worked out. Yeah.
Yeah, it worked out. There were certain things where I'm like, maybe not as much, but I don't feel like
super strongly enough to be like, oh, it needs to be this way.
Yeah. Any of those decisions, I'm like, yeah, I still think that could have gone either way, and I still think it was a good idea, at least internally for myself, to be like, yeah, I'm gonna let myself lean.
Cool. How long were you tracking the record? How many days? Was it consecutive days, or did you kind of like this weekend, then we came back the next weekend?
It was 5 days, Monday through Friday, and then Monday we finished.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were there any more overdubs, or was it all the tracking?
Everything.
That's great.
Yeah. So it was like
7 days.
6.
6 days. Cool.
Yeah. So it was a lot of work, but yeah, a lot of reward. It's so nice to like shove all the pain of a record into one space, because as soon as that's done, you're free. It's just like that just felt so good to like I recently had a conversation with a friend who's tracking, and she just like was letting the project go on and like continued to sink money into it. But then you get into this headspace of like, oh, it's not good, I should sink more money into it, versus like, oh, it's just not good, put it out. Well, you failed. Just put it either it goes off the record.
But what is not good?
You just still don't like it.
You still don't like the recordings.
Yeah. And in a scenario where it's just like, oh, I don't necessarily think that's like my favorite. One of the songs on the record, it's called I Don't Need California. Like, it was none of our favorites. All of us were like, yeah, that was a good swing and a miss. Yeah. And that was our attitude towards it. And we're like, yeah, let's put it out. It fits stylistically. And we put it out, and people were like, people really enjoyed it. And like people love to hear it live. And I was like, this is really interesting,
that
because
goes back into like, you don't know what people want.
Yeah. Exactly. And it felt good, which is why I think it's so good to just like say, I like the song, I want to try and make it well. You make it a certain way, it doesn't turn out how you want, you just put it out. And I was like, okay. And people still dug it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I would never do that. I did that in the past. I had that attitude in the past where I was like, I don't really love this song, but we're going to put it on the record because in my mind, I wanted to make a 12-song record.
Yeah.
And I hated that shit.
Oh, really?
I still hate that I ever did that. There's like so many songs I would take off my album.
Oh, really?
So that's why my last couple records have been so short.
Okay.
They've been like 8 or 9 songs because I'm just so brutal with the...
what's
the editing process?
Yeah, what's an example of a song that you like wish that you had taken off?
There's a few recordings in our EP. Like there's only 2 on our EP. There's only 2 songs I like. There's only 2 recordings I like. I like the songs. I just didn't like the recording. So there's like the second half I would have cut out, and then on Anglo-Saxon, I think maybe the second half of the record I would have cut too.
Wow,
which is
crazy.
It's like half of records I would have just like, okay, let me take more time and rewrite.
Yeah.
Or maybe write something else.
Yeah.
And that's I think also when we pitched that record, that was like the complaint we got. So I think that might also have influenced me a lot.
Yeah. What was the complaint you got?
That they stopped listening on the second half of the record.
Okay.
And so I think that also influences like the way I look at that record now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh fuck, yeah, the second half is boring.
Yeah. Do you think that that's like just like a songwriting issue, or it's a recording issue?
I think it was a songwriting issue. I just don't think the songs are good enough. I think as you're kind of going through the motions of being a musician and like having so many people tell you no all the time, you're like, fuck, man, is it me? And like, you're just trying to figure, is it the songs?
Yeah.
Are we not playing good enough live? And then now that I've had some success with my new records, like, I don't know. I don't know, but I think the songs just weren't good enough. That's why. Mm-hmm. And then you have to and when you're in Santa Barbara, you're kind of like in a bubble and like you're playing Soho and you're playing all these different places, but it's like you have to play LA. You have to play this. You have to see how good the other bands are.
Right.
And you're like, fuck, man, people are really good.
Right.
And we're okay.
Yeah.
And you have to just be real with yourself. And I love the old iteration of Dante Elephante. I love those old songs. I can listen to them and whatever, but it just wasn't good enough. That's why I wasn't getting where I needed to go. Because now I know when I did make a record that was good enough, I saw everyone's like change around me. Oh, the agents want to work with you now. And labels are interested now. It's like, oh, this is how people are supposed to treat you when you make a good record. You're not supposed to be like begging for people to work with you.
Right.
They want to work with you.
Yeah.
If they see things are kind of moving.
Yeah.
And I also saw that with venues. Like venues weren't booking me because they were just like, what's he doing? Who is this guy?
Right.
Like, what's he doing? Like, he hasn't done anything. So I noticed that too. So
things
have turned around. Yeah.
I imagine that attention like builds and then wanes at a certain point. Have you experienced that as well?
With the record? Yeah. I don't know. I think people are, like I said, people are excited for the next thing. Yeah. People have been excited for the next thing. But that's always how I've worked. I've always let these like long gaps happen between records because it takes, the editing process is taking so long now because I'm just like, the song isn't good enough. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And so, yeah.
Interesting.
It just takes more time though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting that I don't know that I've heard that workflow before of like you have the chords and the melody but not the lyrics and like not any of the other accompaniment and then you bring it to the band and then that's like and then at that point do you allow them to add in their accompaniment and then you bring in lyrics last kind of a thing?
We edit again.
And then you edit again. Interesting.
Yeah, we're editing always playing less. Play like very minimal, and then like pick your spots. Everyone needs to pick their spots because if you let people play, everyone's just gonna play on top of each other. Yep. And so each step of the way, and then we'll play it live, and then that's also like another progression, another evolution, and then you hit the studio, and then that's another evolution, and things are gonna change, and especially in the studio. Working with Paul Cherry on that last record, I really know how to make a record now, and like I really know. I started learning about space and recording space like when I did my second record, Rare Attractions, but then the last one's like, okay, now I really know. Yeah. No one's playing on top of each other. Yeah. If you're hearing something, it's because you're meant to hear it. Yeah. You're hearing a riff. Yeah. That's the only thing you're paying attention to is that riff. We're not going to make you listen to two riffs at the same time. Yeah. Which is like what a lot of people do. Right. And it stresses me out as a listener and as like a musician to hear like, oh, there's so many riffs happening. Like he's doing a piano thing, but then he's doing a guitar thing, and then he's also singing on top of all that. Dude, it's so dirty. Like, and cleaning that kind of stuff up takes you from that bar band, to the next level. Yeah, like you can open for someone now, and
that is something that I noticed on like while listening through your stuff and being like, there's a lot of really good highlights happening constantly of being like.
I learned that from St. Vincent.
Interesting.
Yeah, I saw an interview with her. And then this band called Pure Bathing Culture was in Santa Barbara, and I was talking to them after a show, and they just did a record with John Vanderslice, one of those producers, but he worked with St. Vincent. Cool. And he like relayed that information to them, and I was like, oh, and I started watching more interviews with her, and like, everything is very cool. Here's the riff. You're listening to the riff. Yeah. Now I sing. After I sing, here's a drum thing. It's like everything you're hearing is on purpose. Yeah. Yeah. There's no mistakes. I think we all kind of like, I don't know, you listen to Pet Sounds and it's amazing. Yeah. And it's so big. Yeah. And there's so many like little sounds you can get lost in it. And those records are cool too, but you're not Brian Wilson. clean it up, you know? Like,
yeah. That's
Only
very
he could do that.
interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the magic.
Yeah, it's hard to, because when you have a good idea, you like want to hear it more.
Yeah.
And then to be, you know, but editing is I don't know. I was just talking about this last night with Bo Burnham's Inside.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you saw the outtakes, you're like, this man edited so much.
Yeah.
And like, really, like, there are so many like little snippets off of that outtakes thing. And there's more outtakes than what, you know, actually came out. So it's like, the idea that the like spider bit didn't get in there, the idea that like there's just so many things that I think could have gone on there, and like no one would have batted an eye, but the fact that he like got all of it out, I don't know. Yeah, that's something that I need to think about a lot.
It's a little bit of a just think about it next time too, like when you're writing or when you're recording, like, oh, that riff is kind of too busy.
Yeah.
What if it was like simpler, or like what if it wasn't there?
Yeah.
Like, you know, or if we made a moment for it, you know. But that also, what you're just saying, also goes in with just like that, you know, I Don't Need California song. Like, it still fit the energy of the piece.
Yeah.
Like, that's also important, because I've also taken songs out of records because they didn't fit.
Yeah.
Oh, this is cool, but this is like not like the other ones.
Right.
And you can feel the difference when you're listening to all the songs together. And we had that when we were making the second record, like, oh, these all feel so good, and then this one comes on.
Yeah.
And it's just not working.
Yeah.
And you can feel it. It's not even something you have to like really think about. It's like, yeah, we're all in agreement, right? Like,
interesting.
This song feels different. Like, it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel as good.
Yeah.
You know? And,
so you're still making records like with the assumption that people are going to listen through it
I know.
consecutively.
Unfortunately I still am, but I am trying to, like,
which is like a thing. But I know. I still think of it as, I still think the track listing is a record. Like an actual, I agree.
The A side, this is the B side.
Yeah. I think that's important. Because so many, like, when you think about your favorite artists, they're still making records.
Yeah.
Like, they don't just like come out with a ton of disparate singles. Yeah.
You know, the thing I've been saying with the singles, and I've been like back and forth with the singles too. Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't make another record. Maybe that should be my last record, and I just start making singles. Mm-hmm. Is that like people are still waiting for the end? Where's the record? Mm-hmm. They're like, you can put out a bunch of songs, and I see my friends put out singles. I'm like, sick, I'll listen to this one song. But like, where's the album? Come on, give us the album. Like, where's the album? Yeah. And so I still think the album has a place. I don't think, I still think, like, the way that Wolfpack does it, they have an album coming out, but they still treat every song like it's a single. Yeah. It still gets a playthrough video. It still gets a music video. It still gets, like, you're really squeezing the juice off of each song. Yeah. We have one song. Here's the playthrough video. Maybe I'll do an acoustic version or a solo piano version. Here's, you know, I don't know. There's just different ways to milk it or to juice it. Yeah. And I think you can do that to every song, and then you have like multiple pieces of content around your art. Yeah. I am also saying this on this year in the podcast. There are differences between the content and the actual art. Yeah. I know people say the same thing, or some people they hate that word content, but like, the album is the art. The songs are the art. The fucking TikTok video I made isn't art. It's the content I made to promote the art. Like, right. Yeah. So I've been just kind of messing with that a lot and thinking about that, because I don't love that word content. It's so fucking used. Yeah. And I say it like 20 times that word. Right. But like, no, 100%. There's art and then there's content. Yeah. I agree with this. It's been interesting to continue to lower the standard, like both raise and lower the standard of what content is in today's age of like, this is like high value content, you know? But then there's also like the video where you walk up to the phone. Right. Yeah. That's it. You know? It's like, totally. And your song is playing in the background, and it's like, sick. One more video that has your song attached to it. Right. So it's like, it matters, I guess, but it's like, it just feels so weird to like be playing this game that no one likes,
like no one
loves being on TikTok.
No artist that I know enjoys that. But then like a lot of artists that I know will do a video like that and blow up, and like it increases their Spotify listeners. Like, so that kind of stuff is crazy, where I'm like, so who watches this?
Yeah. It's crazy. It's just TikTok can change your life.
Yeah.
And I've been saying it. I've been pounding the drum of TikTok, and I started Seymour Duncan's TikTok, and
cool.
It's just like, it's what my main focus is.
Yeah.
Is like, can I make stuff for that? And, because Instagram's not helping us.
Mm-hmm.
Like they want you to spend money on ads, and TikTok wants you to spend money on ads too, but they're also like, we need viral content. Right. That's like, we have a bottomless feed that we need to keep bottomless.
Yeah.
So, I love it. I think it's great. I think it's a platform that actually wants you to do well. If you have something that goes well, that resonates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I've also noticed things that do really well on Instagram don't do well on TikTok. Like we'll post the same video for Seymour. Yeah. And we'll have a playthrough video or someone playing guitar, and does well on Instagram, but then doesn't do well on TikTok. It's
interesting.
Really
Interesting.
Yeah. No rhyme or reason.
No, and then randomly Facebook Reels will like blow up.
I know.
Where it's like,
I know.
I've noticed. I've like
pushing the Reels hard, so that's my thing right now, is push Facebook Reels really hard.
Yeah.
Because they've never been as generous before.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've noticed like my when I post like an actual reel to Facebook, it will perform worse than if I take the like TikTok reel and put that into Facebook. Yeah. Like that for some reason will perform better. I imagine like 40-year-old people are like, sick. This is a TikTok. Hell yeah, I'm hip to TikTok. Like this is almost cooler now.
Yeah, totally. Man, so what's next for you? You are working on new music. You're gonna hit the studio soon.
Yeah, working on new music. I have no idea what this next record is gonna sound like or look like. Yeah,
you do the same thing you did the last record.
It's a great question. I have no idea at the moment. I don't know, because I don't know what kind of record it's gonna be. Yeah. I think this. The thing that I'm really focused on right now is like, I want to be able to express an idea musically and lyrically, and then deliver it emotionally. And like, so much of my stuff is like heady. Yeah. It's like not like smart heady, just like, oh, isn't that kind of clever? Yeah. It's just like, yeah, I guess it's kind of clever. That's cool. Yeah, it sounds kind of like this other thing, and like and like I really like the record that I just made, and there's a lot more emotion on that than anything I've made in the past. Right. So like, not to like shit on all my previous work, but it's like that's how making a new record feels. Right. All the time, just being, it's kind of a reaction to everything you've done in the past. It's like, I want to keep growing in this area of like, I want to feel more when I'm making it and when I'm singing it. Yeah. And like a lot of the record that I'm still promoting came out in October. Like, I feel a lot of those songs and they feel really good to sing out. And I want to go deeper into that space, and it's been learning more things musically. You can like express an idea of being like, yeah, we feel lost because we're literally between two key centers right now. Right. So you're able to like really feel that in the music and be like, wow, I don't know where we're gonna land here. And then when you hit, it's like, oh, it like feels so much better. And like, yeah, so just certain tricks like that I'm like currently learning, so I know I'm not going to master them for like a few years, but I'm like, I could still get lucky.
You're applying some of it now.
Yeah, and I could still get lucky, and I think I have gotten lucky on a few of the songs, and I'm like, this is pretty sick.
Really? Yeah, you think it's a lot different than your previous work now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. So the lessons are working.
The lessons are working, and they keep surprising me of like, great. There's just so much. All the music that I've been writing for all these years has been in one key, in one mode. Yeah. And it's just like the idea that you can switch keys in a cool way, not just like I keep your love on top. Yeah. Like, and it goes up another, like, shit. To be able to like move sneakily between two keys in a very emotive way, and like I've never knew that was an option.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, okay, sick. Let's make, I don't know, let's make another 15 songs like that and see what that sounds like. Cause it's making something very cool. It feels, so what's next is like, I think I'm just really wanting to push into learning and growing. I've had like multiple calls with, I've been trying to get like a music manager for like ever.
Yeah.
And I continue to have these meetings with people who manage other artists, and like the goal isn't so that they'll manage me. The goal is so I can learn how I'm being perceived.
Yeah.
And what it is that they see that can be improved. And I've gotten a ton of feedback, and a ton of it contradicts.
Really?
And just basic stuff. Just like, you should post less, like, don't tell people that you're married. Like, don't we want to create space for little girls to love your sweet body.
Oh boy.
It's like,
pause. It doesn't sit well with me.
So stuff like that where you're like, when in 2016 when I first started this, that was one of the first pieces of advice.
Tell people you're married.
Yeah, that was the first piece of advice that someone gave me. And I did one gig, and I was out with two of my girlfriends who are not my wife. And I was like, okay, let's like not tell people that I'm married, and just like see how this goes. And I made this like weird joke where someone was just like, oh, is like one of these your girlfriend? And I was like, if only they could both be. And I like turned to them afterward, and I was like, that was weird. That was gross, guys.
Weird, yeah.
I don't like that. Yeah. And I was like, I told them, I was like, I don't like that I did that.
Doesn't feel good.
And they were laughing. Like, it was like very funny for everybody. It was like a good time.
But you didn't feel good about it.
Yeah. And all of us were like, that was kind of weird. Kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so funny. That's such funny advice, because it's like, as a fan, I want to know those things.
Yeah.
I want to know this, like, what these songs are about.
Yeah.
Like, if they are about your wife or whatever, but like that authenticity that everyone's like, oh, you have to be authentic online.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this is my authentic self.
Yeah.
It's like what I'm presenting. So if that's an issue, then
right.
you don't really want authenticity.
Yeah.
What are we looking for?
Yeah. And I do like with all of these like pieces of advice, there's pieces to take and pieces to drop, and certain things of like her being like, I want your songs to be a Mad Lib that people can put their own experiences into, and the song can be theirs. This isn't a song about you and your wife. Right. This is a song about love. Yeah. And being like, I think that's actually like really good advice of like, I don't want this to be a song so specifically about my wife who lives at my address. Yeah. Like, I want this to, there's a Ethan Gruska record where he's singing, it's called Teenage Drug, and it's this idea of like, what are the most like personal and iconic imagery that you can pull from, and he like talks about like the door in your parents' house that we weren't supposed to close, could we close it just a little more? And like, that's like an idea that like everybody can kind of get behind. Like, everyone has like had that experience, and it's not so specific that it like pushes you away. Right. So like that's, this is all on the subject of learning. Like, what am I learning? Yeah. The answer is a lot. Because I'm constantly opening myself up to feedback. Being here in LA, I'm like, look, I've been doing it a certain way, and it's gotten me not where necessarily I want to go. Right. So I'm open, and I'm willing, and I'm wanting to change and put in work. If you think it's important that I learn how to write music so I can convey it to others, like, I will at least try and like think about it, and like spend 5 hours this week. Like, it's like some of that's brutal, where it's just like, I honestly don't know that I'm going to need to use this, but I'm at least going to like give it a shot and like really try. And so I'm just trying a lot of things and seeing if something works out.
And the classic music industry quote is that you don't need a manager until there's something to manage. Yeah, it's like, I've noticed that as well, and I love my buddy Hank who helps manage Dante. Him and Will, they're like this two dudes in Kansas City. They're really sweet, and they work really hard, and they've made it to the point where there is something to manage. Okay, there is. We are managing something here now, and it's cool. They're really sweet guys, and I like working with them. But you also can like find them in the weirdest of places. You know?
Yeah.
They just like emailed me randomly in the lockdown. I was like, who this is probably bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably fake, but let me take this call. And I was like, oh, he's actually a really nice guy.
Cool.
And worked really hard and, you know, has some connections with like agents. Cause that was like my main thing. I was like, I need a booking agent. Like, I need to like play shows. I need to hit the road. Like, 'cause, I don't know. That was always like the biggest hurdle to find an agent. Mm-hmm. And, during the lockdown. So that was also kind of like the first thing, like, kind of just pinpoint. It's like you want all these different things, but where are the things you need now? Mm-hmm. It's like I need to get on the road. I need to play shows. I need to get opening slots. Yeah, and then the other stuff will follow. Yeah, and so that was like kind of the first thing, and then of course I think we went overboard. I played like way too much last year.
Yeah, and how much did you play?
I think we played like almost 60 shows.
Cool.
And I was looking at it, but it was also like a 2-week run here, a week run here.
Yeah,
like. It was a little much. A lot of traveling, but all that stuff, it's all fun, man. Yeah. After the fact. Yeah. I get like so much anxiety before a tour. I'm like, oh, I have to leave for like 2 weeks. Yeah. And I'm working on the road. And it's just
Yeah.
So,
jeez.
All that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's my advice to you. Is like, do you need a manager right now or do you need an agent? Yeah. And like, how do you do that so you can start making more money? Yeah. Playing shows. I don't know, stuff to think about, man.
Yeah. No, I'm down. I'm just looking for literally any help.
Putting it out there.
Yeah, literally any help that is like all that I'm looking for. Like, cool. I like had a conversation with a stylist this last week and just being like, I
need that.
Yeah, being like, yeah, you saw how I dress. Like, what do you think? Like, what's like the point of all this? Yeah. She was like, I just want you to feel good.
Yeah, a lot of them will just say that. I'm like, well, I feel good in this, but I'm already being told.
Yeah. But it's like, what are the things that you'd feel really good in? And being like, and how do you embody? Because she was like, you have a stage energy, right? How do we embody? And like your stage energy is like a piece of you that like lives inside of you that you wish could come out more. She's like, the whole point is to embody that energy in your everyday wardrobe, and so you can carry that everywhere you go. And being like, sick.
Yeah, that's good advice.
That's a great way to look at that. Being like, yeah, I do carry myself super different on stage. I'm confident on stage. Yeah. And like
more so than my real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I get that. Yeah.
I would love to like feel more confident in my real life. And like, he's like, yeah, well then like carry things that are basically like your little talismans that like make you feel that way. And be like, okay, sick. Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. I think like that was like the biggest evolution for me was like that energy I bring on stage. Can I have that like everywhere? Yeah. And that's what I've been working on. Yeah. Yeah. Can I just feel that way all the time? And yeah, it's working. Good. I feel just better in life. Yeah.
Good.
A little bit.
That's great.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Awesome. Well, dude, let's wrap this up. I should have had you promote things in the beginning because people don't listen to the end. But promote what you need to promote at the end, and maybe I'll cut it up and put it in the beginning.
Great. Welcome to the beginning.
This is the beginning of the show. Yeah, man. What you got going on?
I got a record called Call Waiting. 6 songs, 4 full band, 2 acoustic. That came out in October. It's great. Yeah. It's got great album art, great stickers, great merch. And I'll be playing around all year. So if you're in Central California, if you're in California, chances are I'll play in your neck of the woods. I'm in San Francisco in March, and then
where are you playing at in San Francisco?
I do this thing with Comcast, where I like play rooftops, and
that's cool.
Entertain their residents.
Is that public, or do you have to like?
Yeah, it's public.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, you just DM me. That's pretty easy.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. All right. Find you if you're in San Francisco. Go check out the show.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And you have a podcast?
I also do have a podcast. Yeah. I also just had Kyle on. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. It's the Conner Cherland podcast. And it's just my excuse to talk with other musicians.
Are you still doing it on Zoom?
Yes.
Can't do it anymore.
Yeah. It's done. That's a lot. But it's like in LA, it's also a lot to ask somebody to like come over to to film when they're like, I just kind of met you. I'd rather.
Oh, okay,
yeah. There's like a lot of the people that I'm asking don't know me that well, so it's just like unless we like have had like a great personal experience, I'd be like, I don't want to freak you out, but do you want to come to my house?
Yeah, I kind of get that too. That's why I like this thing.
Yeah, a third neutral location.
A neutral location where no one knows where I am. And no one should know where I am.
Yeah.
But I do love this area.
Good.
Hell yeah. Well, thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Thank you.